Hello, everyone. I hope all of you can hear me. Can I get a response? Can you all hear me?
Hello.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, one and all. A warm welcome to this webinar on how to be fiscally fit. This webinar is part of the Capital Market Talk series by the Investment Academy of Bahrain Bourse in collaboration with the Bahrain Institute of Banking and Finance to enable investors to have a strong financial plan and thereby succeed in life. Very happy to see that people are interested to be fiscally fit. Thanks for your registration. This itself is very encouraging. I'm Dr. Chitra with you. I'm a senior faculty in the banking center at BIBF. I'm an economist, having done my master's, MPhil, and PhD in economics. And I'm a trainer by profession in the banking center of BIBF. So very happy to see that people are interested to be fiscally fit. Shall we start? Everyone? Great. Excellent. Fiscal fitness is an underrated subject. I'm sure you all agree that we always talk about physical and mental fitness. Seldom we talk about fiscal fitness. In many families, actually, it's a taboo to talk about your financial wellness. People don't discuss as they feel, it's very personal. Most of us forget that being fiscally fit is as important as maintaining health conscious and consuming healthy food, which are the key prerequisites for a bright and contented future. Fiscal fitness here, it merely means, having an emergency corpus, facing your debts head on rather than piling them up, being organized about your monthly expenses and bills, and you make your right decisions regarding your savings, investment, you have the right insurance policies for you, you keep your family secure, even if something goes out of balance, unexpected contingencies that can happen to all of us or any other similar things. Let's look at some global scenarios to know how important is fiscal fitness. Fiscal fitness is not a concern for individuals alone. Countries all over the world, they are striving to have a balanced fiscal budget. But at the end of it, they end up with a deficit budget quite often. For countries, in spite of their development, whether they are developed countries, underdeveloped countries, or developing countries, fiscal discipline is essential to improve and sustain their economic performance, maintain their macroeconomic stability, and reduce all types of vulnerabilities. If there is a rapid increase in a government's debt, that can be a major cause for concern. So world economies also wish to be fiscally fit. Generally, higher a country's debt to their gross domestic product ratio, we call it debt to GDP ratio, higher is the chance that the country could default on its debt, which will definitely create a financial panic in the world market. The World Bank has published a study showing that Countries which maintained a debt to GDP ratio of over 77% for prolonged period of times, they have experienced, economic slowdowns. Normally, we will be looking at the debt to GDP ratio as a metric to compare a country's public debt to its economic output. What economists normally do is they compare how much country owes to how much it produces in order to measure a country's theoretical ability to pay off its debt. Let's have a quick look at top 10 countries in terms of debt to GDP. Any guesses? I'm sure you will be surprised to see some of the countries in the list. You wouldn't have expected these countries on the list, that too at the top. Let's have a look at them. Can you see which country is at the top? Japan. Greece is there. Singapore is there. Maldives is there. These are highly indebted countries. Their debt to their GDP is very, very high. So countries with very high debts are a cause of concern for the world, because if the situation continues, it will affect the country's ratings. So for countries itself, having a high debt to GDP is a concern. So what about individual? Isn't it important for us to be fiscally fit? You agree with me? So in this webinar, we will try to look at how to be fiscally fit. So what are our webinar's outcomes? I'm sure at the end of this webinar, you will have a very good understanding of the importance of fiscal wellness. You will be able to know how to achieve that and what are the do's and don'ts to reach there. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Let me ask you, what is or why we need fiscal fitness? What was your New Year's resolution? I'm sure all of us with a new year, we talk about New Year's resolution. The most common resolution is getting healthy, lose weight, get fit, work out, or something else to this extent. However, a great addition to this goal is to become fiscally fit. So while you are adding these health goals for your body, why not we add some financial goals to our resolution? Isn't that equally important? The first thing we do when we start our health program is to see what is our starting point look like and what our end goal is. Getting financially fit should also start at the same way. Starting step, we need to understand our assets and liabilities, and we need to measure our debt to income ratio, because knowing where you want to go should start with knowing where you currently stand. We need to ask questions to ourselves. Are we holding too much debt? Are we maxing out our credit cards? Thus, knowing where we want to get to and what you look like now is a great starting place. For example, let's say if you want to lose weight, most people figure out what caused them to gain weight. Was it eating poorly or not working out? Losing debt is just like losing weight. Am I spending money in the wrong places? Not saving or paying on the wrong things? When trying to lose debt, you need to cut out the spending in those wrong places. This might involve stopping for an expensive cup of coffee, not impulse shopping at the grocery store, just sticking to your list of what you did. So I hope by now you understood the importance of being fiscally fit. Now let us look at what is the meaning of fiscally fit. Before getting into fiscal fitness, let's look at what is finance all about. See, financial textbooks have a more elaborate way of defining finance. But in common usage, the term finance simply means management of large sums of money over time. In layman's language, let's define finance as an efficient management of funds. Funds needs to be managed because of two reasons. Our financial resources are scarce in relation to our aspirations. And secondly, our receipt of funds and our need to incur expenditure do not normally coincide. So, fiscal fitness, it's a holistic financial planning which encompasses multiple areas within a person's investment portfolio. It's called fiscal fitness because being financially secure is a marathon, it's not a sprint. There is constant discussion on the importance of being physically and mentally fit. But the third component, being fiscally fit, that is the third component, which is as important as physical health and mental health. It is rarely discussed, and it is, however, we need to understand that it is inherently intertwined with the other two, the physical well-being and the mental well-being. Hence, in nutshell, it is nothing but financial wellness or taking control of your finances. Simply stated, being fiscally fit means having a peace of mind that you are in charge of your finances and not the other way around. You enjoy your life without the additional stress of money because you have a plan. It is not to say that you are rich, but rather you understand your money and how it can work for you, not the other way around. A fiscally fit lifestyle is one where your relationship with money is guided with your values. It's very important, isn't it? They dictate how you work, how you spend, how you save. Not only are you guided by your values, but you encourage others also to do the same. When your financial house is in order, you are confident. You know that you are making good decisions about your money. You are grateful for the money you have and the things or experiences that the money allows you to buy. You make your money work for you and you are optimistic about your financial future. This translates into encouraging your friends, family, children about the importance of their personal values with money. We are often too busy to think about how we spend our money until we are in financial trouble. Isn't that true for many of us? We get caught in the cycle of using credit cards for everyday expenses like groceries with no plans to repay the debt. We make purchases we cannot afford or investments that do not pay off as we had planned. We don't want to get into this. Hence, we have to plan our budget. Now, How to get financially fit? Getting physically fit involves lots of strenuous workout regime, isn't it? No one gets fit by doing nothing. It usually involves weight training, running, or some other physical activity. So getting financially fit also is the same way. It will require some smart savings, paying down debt, or some other task that will help you reach your goal. We need to determine what is keeping us from getting fiscally fit. Is it no savings, high interest credit cards, or some other payments? If your goal is to build your savings, then see what amount you feel comfortable in saving. Make it a goal that will push you to reach, but something that is attainable. The process of becoming fiscally fit is learned through financial fitness game plan, which is about, playing defense first and offense second. Unfortunately, true financial education, it's not being effectively taught in schools or not at all taught in schools. Whether you are a recent college grad or a retired person or a single, married, a business owner, a parent, or someone taking care of your elderly parents, being fiscally fit is very, very important. Like physical fitness, fiscal fitness does not happen over time. It takes practice and consistent effort to see the results. You need to establish goals and implement a plan. It's a journey that requires adjustments along the way. You may fail, but it is what you learn from the failure and how you move forward that will help you to succeed. What are the key guiding factors to begin your financial wellness journey? First one, tracking your spending habits. And second one, creating a budget. May I request those who are attending to mute your speaker? Kindly, please. Kindly mute your speakers, please. Thank you. First and the foremost is tracking your spending habits. So these are, key guiding factors to begin our fiscal wellness journey. The first and the foremost is tracking your spending habits. Understand your cash flow. If you don't know where your money is going, you lose the opportunity to spend your money on the things that matter most to you. So this is the first step in knowing where and how much you are spending daily, weekly, and monthly. If you experiment for a week, you will be surprised on what and how much you spend your money. Track every purchase, even the small ones. You can log it or use journaling is a very good method. Logging it or journaling it is a very good method, or you can use a financial app. And there are a number of apps available now. To name a few, we have Mint, Good Budget, etc., which are available on Android and Apple Store, or it can be there in your bank's application also. Once you track it or log it, secondly, you need to evaluate your expenses. This will give you insight into which categories you spend the most money and where you need to make adjustment. You can divide your budget into cost percentages like housing, it can be your mortgage, rent, etc., transportation, food, household expenses, energy, any of your same vacation plans. Plans can be short term and long term, everything else like charity, clothing, medical cost beyond the insurance. So you need to evaluate your expenses and regularly. The second key guiding factor is creating a budget. Budgeting is all about choices. Managing money means making choices. We all know that our wants are unlimited. The moment you satisfy one want, the other creeps in. But the problem is the means to achieve these wants, which is money, is never enough. And this means can be put into, that is, money can be put into alternative uses also. So it will be very difficult to set and achieve financial goals without creating a budget. So if you are fiscally fit, what are the benefits? What are the benefits of you being fiscally fit? If you are fiscally fit, you have increased awareness about income and expenses for you, and if you are running a business or for your family. You can plan and take action to pay off your debts. You won't be dependent on the credit cards. You know which is the most popular credit card issuer in the world? MasterCard, right? You need to manage, you know how it is been, why that name is given? You need to manage your credit card and the expenses. If you don't, then the card will become your master and you will become a slave to the card, which is an issue in the 21st century among the millennials and the Gen Z, which is called the financial enslavement. So you will have to have investment and saving strategies. So these are the benefits of being fiscally fit. Let's now look at how we can achieve the fiscal fitness. Okay, so here are 20 things that you could do to take control of your finances. They are not complex. They are very simple. What is required is, we need to practice them. We need to practice. Practice makes everyone perfect, right? So they are not complex at all. They are very simple. We need to practice it. First and the foremost, plan your budget. Once you know where your money is coming from and where it is going, you could start to put a monthly budget together. A well-planned budget should earmark money for all your regular costs like rent, mortgages, bills, insurance, subscriptions, as well as giving you an allowance for things you enjoy, such as the movies or eating out or day out with the family, etc. Consider setting some money aside for an emergency fund to provide some additional security. So you need to be very rational and realistic when you are creating your budget. Second thing, involve your family in budgeting. If your household has more than one income, then including their income in a single household budget could give you much clearer understanding of where the money is being spent. Moreover, financial inclusivity should start from home. Make each one in the family responsible for their spending, especially the children. Once they learn this financial inclusivity as well as the responsibility from home, they will never forget it. Thirdly, save before spending. Normally, what we do, we save after all our expenses are met, which is wrong. To quote Warren Buffett, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. So if you are planning on saving some of your income, it could be a lot easier to put the money aside as soon as you get paid. Doing this could take away the temptation of end of the month spending sprees due to leftover money. And also it could give you more control over how much you save. Save regularly, very important. The fastest way to build up saving pot is to contribute it regularly. If you add BD50 a month, each month for a year, you could end up with the BD600. Building how much you want to regularly save into your budget is a great way to make sure that you hit your financial targets. Prioritize your spending. Chances are there you won't be able to afford to do everything you want each month. But it is important to make sure you have budgeted for the things that you really want. So we need to make a list of things like necessities, comforts, and luxuries. By prioritizing your spending, you can ensure that you always have money for the future. I agree. Saving means, there is a pinch of sacrifice. None of us want to save, we want to spend, but we need to save today so that we can have a contented life in the future. 6, see if you can reduce your expenses. How much of your regular outgoing expenses do you really want or even need? During the COVID and due to the strict lockdown policies, our subscription service payment has increased in the last couple of years. You may be surprised by just how much you are paying out, right? I'm sure for many of the subscriptions, it has increased over the years. Some of these you may not even be using anymore. Being ruthless and cutting expenses that you no longer need could save you a pretty penny. Put off your debts. 7th, very important. Put off your debts. Credit card bills, loans, or any other debts can be expensive. When prioritizing your money, it's generally considered good practice to pay off your debt as quickly as you can afford to. It makes sometimes more sense to use your savings to pay off your debt, as the cost of your debt is likely to be more than the interest you will receive on your savings. For that, you need to track the interest rates and the inflation rates. As we all know, interest rates are going up, so we need to be very careful when we have to decide on whether we are going to pay off the debts now or in the future. Limit your credit card purchases. When you journal your expenses, you will know how many goods you have bought on credit cards which are still unused. 9th, think about your pension. Are you already contributing towards the pension? I'm sure if you are a working individual in Bahrain, you are. However, we need to understand that pensions are not normally adjusted to inflation rates. So we need to have alternative plans to boost our pensions. All countries in the world are currently seeing soaring inflation. resulting in cost of living crisis. The ultimate effect of rising inflation is that, in real terms, the pensioners are likely to be worse off. So we need to have a plan B to boost our pensions, to maintain a standard of living, the same standard of living in future also. 10. Keep up with inflation. Savings are great, but if they are not keeping up with the rate of inflation, then the value of our money could be going down. How does that work? Let's look at an example. For example, you have 1,000 BD in a fixed deposit, which gives you 3% interest. Or if you have put in an Islamic bank, a profit. But we all know that currently the inflation in Bahrain is 4%. While you are earning 3% on your savings, everything else is increasing in price by an additional 1%. So in real terms, your returns are only 1%. Returns are minus 1%. This means that your BD 1000, which is sitting in your FD, won't be able to buy you as much because everything else is now more expensive. So we need to invest money in savings or investment plans, which will fetch you higher returns. 11th, consider investing. One way to try and beat the rate of inflation is by investing your money in shares. Yes, there is a flip side. Your returns are not guaranteed, but over the long term, your money has more potential to achieve larger returns than if you have kept it in the FDs or in your savings account. You can choose a level of risk, and it's very important for you to keep stop loss limits. If you are not sure, consult with the financial advisors of your bank who are experts who will manage your portfolio on your behalf. There are nowadays, choice of ethical investments, which will allow you to invest your money in forms of or in line with your values. So there are ethical investments are also available. 12. Plan for the long term. When creating a budget, don't forget to think long term. Knowing how much you spend every month is great, but it is equally important to have a financial goal for a year, 5 years, or even 25 years. This will give your savings something to aim for, and if you chose to invest, time for your investment to make a return for you. 30. Check regularly, but not too regularly. Now you will be wondering, what does that mean? Okay, it means when you start testing out your new budgets, it's worth dipping in every few weeks to make sure that it's on track. But don't check too regularly, especially on your investment. If you start regularly checking on your investment plan, then your focus will be on short-term gains. You will be sacrificing the long-term gains. So that can have a negative approach to your long-term profits. 14. Review and adapt. Don't worry if your budget doesn't work the first time. It happens. Maybe you had a more expensive month than usual, or perhaps you missed something out of your budget. You should learn why your budget didn't work and make changes to include any extra costs going forward. We all learn from our mistakes. No one is born as a perfect financial wizard, right? We all learn from our mistakes. So we need to review and adapt. 15. Ask for help. Financial advisors, they exist for a reason. And sometimes you may need a third party to make sense of your finances. A good financial advisor of your bank, he should be able to tell you what you need to do differently, show you how much you can save, and even provide you better guidance on your budget. Make the most of your banks because many banks they are taking advantage of technology to provide better service to their customers. This includes things like notifications on purchases, incomes, identifying your spending habits, attributing costs to categories, your account, your fees, etc. So if your bank has these facilities, use them. Okay, why not try some of these features and see if it has an impact on you and the way you manage your money. 60. Stay on target. Very, very important. We need to be focused. It can be easy to get distracted or disinterested in your finances, especially when things start heading in the right direction. For some people, when things are going on the right direction, they are too happy that they get distracted. But it is contrary for others. When this happens, it's easy to slip back into our old ways of doing things and miss some of our financial targets, which is not a very good strategy. So stay on target, be focused, checking on your savings or investment every few months to ensure that you are on track. That would definitely help. 70. Be flexible. Things happen. Maybe this month your car breaks down and that throws your monthly budget off. Part of your budget should allow for flexibility to help with exactly this sort of scenarios. Don't be afraid to dip into your savings if you need to. Just make sure to readjust your targets and or replan your budgets if necessary. 80. Very, very, very important, I would say. No herd behavior, please. Please understand. If you want to be fiscally fit, there is no one size fits for all. Always remember that. As human beings, we all are social animals. For centuries, our brains have been wired to conform to the actions of the larger group, right? This is because in olden days, a person's probability of survival would be negatively impacted if he is not part of a group. But in financial decisions, herd behavior may not be very efficient. It can lead to volatility. Herding means you do something because others are doing. You just jump into the bandwagon. A classic example can be how people invested in cryptos just because others have done and have experienced severe losses. So always remember in your mind, financial decisions or financial planning or to become fiscally fit, there is no size. It is not like one size fits for all. Each one of us, our situations are different, our aspirations are different, our risk appetite is different, our ability to take risk is different, our willingness to take risk is different. So there is no one size fits for all. 90. Create an emergency fund. An emergency fund of between 3 to 6 months salary will definitely help to see you and your family through difficult times. It's very important, especially in today's world. It's very important for us to have an emergency fund. Last but not the least, The 20th one is enjoy the process. If you don't enjoy the process, the result will not be satisfactory. You are budgeting, you are tracking your expenses. As I told you, when you save, there is a pinch of sacrifice, right? So that pinch of sacrifice, every one of us have because we want to spend. Whereas we are saving. How is saving defined? Saving is defined as when you refrain from consumption. So you are not consuming and you are saving. So there is a pinch of sacrifice. But if you enjoy that process, then at the end, we will be happy. So flex your fiscal muscles by starting small. You don't have to do it all at once. Make it manageable to achieve small goals, like tracking your spending for a month, creating a monthly budget. It may take a few weeks or months to create the habit and gain some traction. Don't give up on yourself. Your financial or your fiscal fitness can correlate to your improved physical and emotional wellness. Thus, we can safely conclude that fiscally fit means positioning oneself to deal with financial uncertainty. It means developing a series of financial habits that will make us better able to deal with unexpected expenses, the rising cost of living, and a decline or loss of income. I hope this session was empowering and it was useful for all of you. If not all, at least some of you start budgeting and tracking your expenses and move in the direction of being fiscally fit, I would say that is the greatest success of this webinar. Thank you, one and all. If you have any questions, I encourage you to ask any questions that you may have in this topic. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Dawood. It's time for you to ask if you have any questions. Thank you, Akila. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Kasim. I'm happy that you found it very informative and significant. Thank you, Salim and Nada. Safa, thank you, Safa, for this question. Safa, portfolios we can create based on the life cycle of the investor. We normally, what we do, we classify the investors under 4 categories. If you are in the age group of 25 to 35, you are in your establishing career stage. If you are in 35 to 50, you are in the career growth stage. 50 to 60 is considered as pre-retirement, and after 60 is post-retirement. So we need to customize the portfolios according to the life cycle of the client. More than the life cycle, we need to gather all information of the client. We would like to know the risk appetite of the client, how much risk the client is willing and able to take. Then we will create a portfolio by looking at the market conditions currently, we are hearing that we may dip into recession so we need to invest in those markets, or those sectors which will not be hit by the recessionary cycle. So portfolios needs to be created based on this information, Safa. That's why I said it's not one size fits for all. Thank you, Malini. Safa, I hope I answered your question. So if you are young, if you have patience, you can invest in share markets. Warren Buffett started investing when he was in high school, and look where he is today. Definitely, Safa. I'm more than happy to help you and guide you also. It's my pleasure. I'm leaving my email here as well as my direct number. My email is chitra@bibf.com and my number is 17815598. You can reach me at any time. I will respond to you. More than happy to help you. Thanks, Safa. It is my pleasure always. So any further questions? Thank you all. It was a pleasure to meet you all. And thanks for your time and interest in listening to and attending our webinar. Thank you so much.